done with day 5, and I had a great question from classmate Waleed, who asks, as for authentic leadership development, I'm struggling with the extent of being vulnerable to different groups of people. Any thoughts on that? And I think this is something that is, of course, a great question. With the different groups or people you're working with, I think there's different levels of vulnerability you might be willing to show, or different truths you might be willing to share. So if you're kind of going in and this is like a family, I think you're allowed to be more vulnerable. Whereas stuff at work, you're probably going to have to start a way toned down. And it also depends on the audience. And I think the two things I'm factoring on is the size of the audience, the number of people, because the more people, the more unknown variables you're trying to control for. So I can kind of read someone if it's like a one-on-one thing, whereas it might be really hard to pull back after you do some presentation in front of 500 people. So that size of audience matters. And then it's the kind of aim low thing that I've heard people kind of talk about is start with something little and slowly grow it out as you feel it. I think Darren Greatly has a great discussion about this, where it's the marbles you put in a trust jar and slowly you put some marbles into the trust jar until it's all full up. You can't just dump them all in. You might get hurt that way. You might get burned. But if you do it slowly, it helps build that rapport. It helps you move forward towards that. And I think that's how you can best open up the different things. So in our leadership lesson today, the best part was the discussion on gratitude, or how you show that you appreciate what other people are doing for you. And in doing so, this actually makes you happier, and according to some scientific studies. Now you can sit back and debate on these scientific studies and how valid they are, but at the end of the day, I think there's lots of anecdotal evidence that it is helpful for you to show gratitude towards something and in turn receive gratitude back from other people. It starts this nice virtuous cycle where you and another person kind of grow, again, better trust, work together better, and end up being happier and more fulfilled people. Now, in this, they were discussing, hey, you should make a gratitude journal, because as you start writing down something you're grateful for, you start looking for these things in your life. So you start realizing, hey, I see this nice flower. I had a nice dinner with my wife, those types of things. And as you start looking at them, you start finding them because you start seeing what you're looking for. And instead of writing a journal, which will probably last me like 3 or 4 days and I'll get tired of it and throw it away, I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. After my bedtime story with my daughter, whether it's 1, 5, or 12 different stories that we read, I'm going to be asking her what she is grateful for the day. And I think this is going to be valuable because it'll do the same thing. It'll start her looking for things that she is grateful for and that we provide for her. Whether it is Daniel Tiger, and she likes that, whether it's a hug from mom, or her sparkly shoes. At least we get something that she's grateful for, and starting this kind of mindset of looking for these different types of things and expressing this. And it'll be interesting to see, one, how long I continue to do this, and also if it impacts or affects her, or how long she kind of takes that with her life. So while it's weird to kind of say, hey, this is an experiment I want to go with on my daughter, at least it's not a Skinner box. So I think that's good. While we had 2 other great courses today, I don't think they compare to the life lessons and how my behavior will change like the leadership lessons we learned. So hopefully that is useful for you as well as you go about your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Oh, I almost forgot, up to 10 lock pickers.